How they respond to breakups. Check timeline for your zodiac sign. Aries. You burn bridges. Aries. When it's over, it's over. You don't linger, negotiate, or emotionally hover. You cut ties fast and decisively. After a breakup, you suddenly become booked and busy, filling your calendar with work, social plans, and new faces. You tell yourself it's freedom, that the relationship was holding you back. But the truth is simpler. You don't want to sit alone with your thoughts. Stillness makes you think about your ex, and that's something you avoid at all costs. You pour your energy into goals and self-improvement because success is your coping mechanism. Whether you admit it or not, your breakup fuels competition. Your ultimate goal is simple. Become so successful that every ex regrets losing you. Taurus. You internalize the pain. Taurus, from the outside, your life barely changes after a breakup. Same routine, same habits, same steady rhythm. You still eat the same meals, walk the same paths, and unwind the same way every night. Inside, though, you're carrying heavy emotional pain. Routine becomes your refuge, a way to survive while waiting for time to do its work. You trust time deeply, believing it will eventually heal everything. And you're not wrong. However, you're also the sign most likely to repeat the same relationship patterns. Even breakups start to look familiar. Growth doesn't come from waiting alone. Healing requires reflection and change. Don't just endure heartbreak, learn from it. Becoming better means actually allowing the experience to reshape you, not just outlast it. Gemini. You get a little crazy. Gemini, being alone after a breakup is nearly impossible for you. Your emotions spiral fast, and instead of sitting with them, you turn everything into content. Subtweets, jokes, late-night calls. You laugh when you want to cry and cry when no one is watching. One moment you're devastated. The next, you're making fun of the entire relationship like it was a comedy special. Breakups push you into emotional chaos because feelings don't follow logic, and logic is your comfort zone. Humor becomes your survival tool. You crack jokes to soften the pain and distract yourself from its weight. Eventually, clarity comes, and you learn from it all. Gemini is flexible, resilient, and capable of genuine growth. Healing may look messy, but it works. Cancer, you're clingy. Cancer. You don't really break up. You slowly dissolve relationships over time. Even when it's ending, you hold on tighter, craving closeness when distance is exactly what's happening. Space feels terrifying, so you instinctively try to close the gap. After the breakup, you sit with memories that hurt on purpose. The smell on the pillow, the empty space beside you. You let yourself sink into sadness because it feels familiar, even comforting. At some point, the grief becomes less about your ex and more about your identity. You attach meaning to emotional pain and stay there longer than necessary. Only when you feel you've fully honored the heartbreak, when it's emotionally enough, do you finally release it. Until then, you grieve deeply and completely. Leo, you are a black hole. Leo, how you handle a breakup depends entirely on who ended it. If you walked away, you're fine. You assume it wasn't meant to last, and you move on with confidence. But if someone leaves you, that's a different story. Your world collapses inward. You can't understand how anyone could walk away from something so bright, so warm, so rare. You. Rejection feels personal, almost cosmic. Your pride takes a hit, and the grief becomes massive and dramatic. Like a collapsing star, all that emotion pulls everything into it. You replay moments, question their judgment, and mourn the loss of admiration. Eventually, you rise again. But first, the heartbreak must fully consume you. Only then do you reclaim your light. Virgo, you're cynical. Virgo, relationships don't define you. And honestly, that's part of the problem. After a breakup, you feel relief mixed with melancholy. You don't spiral, you reset. Life feels quieter, cleaner, more efficient. There's no one disrupting your routines or emotional equilibrium. Even in long-term relationships, a part of you always remains untouched. That core self stays independent, analytical, and emotionally reserved. Breakups don't change you much because you were never fully absorbed in the first place. This emotional distance makes you cynical about love. You observe relationships instead of dissolving into them. While others grieve dramatically, You move forward practically. You may feel sadness, but it doesn't consume you. You remain yourself before, during, and after love. Libra. You act like you never broke up. Libra. You want to prove you're over the breakup immediately, but instead of cutting contact, you keep the connection alive. Memes, casual check-ins, shared jokes. It all continues as if nothing really ended. You cling to the idea of staying friends, even when that wasn't truly offered. Deep down, you're still imagining chance encounters and moments to show how unaffected you are. Real closure hasn't happened yet. Friendship becomes a performance rather than a boundary. Ironically, you're the sign most capable of genuine friendships with exes, but only after detachment. When you rush it, you stay emotionally stuck. Eventually, your social circle fills with people who once loved you. Healing comes when you stop needing their validation to move on. Scorpio, you can't let go. Scorpio, time doesn't work normally for you when it comes to heartbreak. While others move on, you linger, watching, remembering, checking in from a distance. You claim you're over it, yet certain nights are reserved for revisiting the past. You hold on to small details, symbolic moments, even petty grievances that never fully faded. Letting go feels like erasing a part of yourself, and that's something you resist. You love deeply, and once you invest, detachment is slow and painful. Moving on isn't about forgetting, it's about releasing emotional ownership. Until you do, the connection lives quietly in the background. Healing comes when you accept that love doesn't need to be retrieved to have mattered. Some things end without returning. Sagittarius, your higher self wished for it. Sagittarius, you rarely talk about heartbreak because you don't believe in feeding negativity. You convince yourself the breakup happened for a reason, maybe even because you wanted it subconsciously. You trust the universe and believe intention shapes reality, so dwelling on pain feels counterproductive. Instead, you reframe the story, take a trip, chase a new experience, and mentally move on. Silence becomes your coping strategy. You avoid heavy conversations and focus on possibility instead. Sometimes this helps. Sometimes it delays healing. You don't deny the pain. You just refuse to give it power. Eventually, clarity arrives through distance and perspective. You believe life always knows what it's doing, even when heartbreak feels confusing. Capricorn, you'll be hella productive. Capricorn, a breakup is just another life event to manage. You don't dramatize it, you absorb it. Whether you ended things or were left, you accept it with quiet resignation. You're used to doing what's expected, even in love. Afterward, you retreat into productivity. Work, projects, creative output. This is where you process emotion. Melancholy fuels you instead of slowing you down. You write, build, plan, and improve. Pain becomes structure. Eventually, you may want to be friends with your ex, not out of longing, but obligation and practicality. For you, emotional detachment is survival. You don't avoid feelings, you channel them. Healing happens through accomplishment, routine, and steady forward motion. Aquarius, you don't process your emotions. Aquarius, after a breakup, you convince yourself you're fine almost immediately. You zoom out philosophically, questioning the meaning of relationships and minimizing personal pain. You tell yourself nothing truly matters in the grand scheme. But then the feelings show up, quietly, late at night, as a tightness in your chest or unexpected tears. You try to intellectualize heartbreak instead of feeling it. Logic becomes a shield, but emotions don't disappear just because you explain them away. You're human, not a concept. The pain surfaces when distractions fade. Healing begins when you allow yourself to feel without needing to justify it. You don't lose intelligence by being emotional, you gain honesty. Pisces, you're a stalker who doesn't want to be contacted. Pisces, after a breakup, you disappear, but that doesn't mean you detach. Time doesn't exist the same way for you, so weeks and years feel interchangeable. You retreat inward, convinced you're still emotionally connected on some unseen level. You know what's happening in your ex's life without being told. You notice changes, patterns, and emotional shifts instinctively. If they reach out, you're overwhelmed, not comforted. You remember every shared moment, show, and unspoken agreement. Boundaries matter deeply, even when they're spiritual rather than physical. You don't want contact, but you also don't truly let go. Healing comes when you ground yourself in reality instead of emotional intuition alone. Thank you for watching, and let me know your thoughts in comments box. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the updates.